One conference in Amsterdam with Kelsey Cole from Adbank. Could you please introduce yourself, Kelsey, and what do you do at Adbank?
So my name is Kelsey Cole. I'm Canadian. I'm the only female co-founder of Adbank, which is a peer-to-peer digital advertising, both platform and network. We use blockchain and artificial intelligence built on Ethereum to stop and reduce fraud in advertising, which is costing advertisers $51 million a day. Massive, massive global problem.
Fraud advertising, can you maybe give an example of a fraud advertising?
Yeah, so the number one cause of fraud in digital advertising is actually bot fraud. So robots that different hackers are using to gamify and make fake clicks and fake views. There's actually a project out of Russia called MethBot, and they make $5 to $10 million a day. So they're really contributing to this $51 million a day problem, and it's costing the industry billions a year, billions. So,
so actually, these robots they produce fake advertisements, or what kind of things do they do?
So the advertisements are purchased, by advertisers on content publishers. So it could be, any one of your favorite magazines. Let's use Vogue for an example. Vogue.com has banner ads that help fund the content on the site. Every month, they make their money primarily in advertising revenue because the subscription model is dwindling and dying. But a lot of those advertisements that are actually being displayed on their website, the traffic to them is fake. So what's happening is digital advertisers aren't getting the ROI they used to because people aren't clicking on them because they're not even people that are viewing those ads. It's actually robots, and robots, of course, are not actually participating in the economy from a purchasing perspective, so it's not helping the advertising ecosystem.
Okay, it sounds like a very sound idea. You already have issued an ICO. You already raised $21 million, or?
We raised 15 million US, which in Canadian dollars is 19 million. And that was in a 6-week time period, and that was an ICO, so we didn't have to obviously give up any equity, which was fantastic.
It was at the right time, actually, because this market.
Yeah, it was. We had one of those Indiana Jones moments where we grabbed the hat and the wall came down. I think it was a week after we finished our ICO that Facebook banned all crypto ads. And being a marketer, we actually designed our entire ICO campaign around Facebook. We hired a Saturday Night Live writer to do our video that explained it, and we had an entire flow and process to help people through the purchasing decision for the ICO through Facebook. So had we not had access to Facebook's advertising ecosystem, I certainly wouldn't be sitting here today with $19 million in the bank.
Yeah, what do you think actually of these big social media companies who actually are banning crypto? I mean.
Well, I think it's very interesting. I believe myself that it's a fear-based decision. I think that they're very afraid of this new up-and-coming technology. Blockchain really is Internet 2.0. It's connecting people in a way that we've never seen before, and in a transparent fashion, which obviously is a huge challenge in social media, as we've seen with Facebook and their lack of transparency. So I believe that they're scared. That's why they're making these decisions. They're also sort of forced to be industry examples in terms of regulations, and I think that this was just an easy way for them to flex their muscles, especially when they didn't perform enough with the elections and monitoring that. So they're saying, we're just going to pull crypto altogether instead of giving it the opportunity that it deserves. They're just pulling it, and I really do think they're scared. They should be.
I mean, it's one of the key points is this centralization. How decentralized is actually Adbank? Can you maybe?
Yeah. So we have a peer-to-peer system. So advertisers and publishers can use our tool to connect together, similar to the way we use Uber to connect to drivers. Instead of actually running and managing it for them, we allow them to connect through our programmatic interface. There has to be a little bit more hand-holding in the beginning as we develop this technology, and as the AI starts to get smarter. It's so new right now.
So for instance, I have a news blog or a magazine. I can use this kind of service? cryptos.
Yes, absolutely. We're in the midst of launching a crypto-focused ad network specifically. As you know, Google, as of June, is pulling all of the availability for any crypto companies to use their platform, which makes a huge impact on people like you who are publishers of that content.
True.
You can no longer just pop that Google ad code in, because most of your advertising customers, I imagine, are probably in the crypto space.
True.
You're not going to be able to run their ads anymore. So we're going to be able to offer a solution for that. So that's something that's coming out in the next few weeks. It's called Intergalactic Ads, and it's a platform and network specifically for the cryptocurrency industry.
Sounds good. And maybe you can explain more about this intergalactic apps, or
Intergalactic Ads will give you campaigns that take your company to the moon. So that's sort of the idea behind it. But really, it's just a vertical that we're using to experiment with the Adbank technology. We released our beta at the end of March. So we had alpha during the ICO. It was pretty basic to get the concept out there. But the beta now integrates a much more sophisticated technology stack. We have a PhD in computer science and artificial intelligence that leads all of our development. And he's working on the machine learning perspective of making it as strong and fast as possible. So, but in order to really be ready for the mass market and all of those billions of dollars of ad revenue that we were talking about earlier, we have to be able to test on a smaller scale. So we're starting with outliers, people that can't use traditional advertising. So crypto is a great example. For us, it's sort of the low-hanging fruit. We're running out of places as cryptocurrencies to advertise. So that creates opportunity, less competition. But also it gives us the opportunity to test in a bit of a riskier market for people who have no choice but to take risks. So this technology you can pay for in both crypto or fiat. So if it's easy for you to pay to buy Adbank tokens with Ethereum, you can do that very easily. We can also exchange fiat, which is really great for a lot of ICOs who have to pay for their initial services in fiat. So
sounds good. Just have to check because I just have to check it. Yeah, it's good.
Cool.
A few more questions. I will edit it. A few more questions. I mean, did you actually issue a token, or?
Yes. Yeah. So we have an Adbank token, and we need a token for our ecosystem in order to properly detect fraud. If we were to use a different cryptocurrency that has the ability to be used in other scenarios like Ethereum or Bitcoin, we wouldn't be able to track the life cycle of that token or that coin. So by creating a token, what it empowers us to do is be able to fully trace the life of that token within our platform. So we can see, every time that token's used to buy and sell ads. That allows us to have a much more restricted data set, so the AI can get more intelligent faster and really be able to detect the patterns of the token. If I go to the flower market and I use euros in cash to buy tulips, and that tulip seller goes and buys, pancakes down the street, and he uses that cash. I don't know where that cash goes later. It could wind up in the red light district. We don't know. But with the Adbank token, it can only ever be used within our ecosystem. And so when a publisher receives the Adbank tokens, they can easily convert those to Ethereum, Bitcoin, fiat, whatever the case may be.
It's like a gateway token.
It's a gateway token, exactly. Just like when you go to an arcade, you can't play with cash. Maybe nowadays you can, but you had to buy arcade tokens to use the machines. True. And that's the only way they operated. We're the same way.
Okay, sounds good. So actually you're building, are there already customers or use cases, or you were talking about a pilot?
Yeah, so we're in the midst of that at the moment. We're about to announce a very exciting pilot project, actually with a government body. Who we were approached by, which is very exciting. So we're announcing them.
Out in Europe, or?
Yeah, it's actually in Europe. I won't say who it is just yet.
Western Europe, Eastern Europe.
That's a good question. I feel like it's sort of a little bit central, but it's with actually with the tourism board. And tourism, governments around the world spend $413 billion a year trying to get tourists to come to their countries. And so they obviously have a huge responsibility. They have government funds that they're using to try and boost, the GDP of tourism. And so this government approached us and said, we want to be the first government in the world to advertise on the blockchain.
Wow.
So we have a pilot program that's happening with them that will be live very shortly. So we're announcing that next week we're going to announce it with them in person. So
Okay, sounds good. A few questions. You're based in Canada.
Yeah.
Also, the ICO is based in Canada.
Yes.
How is it with regulation in Canada?
Oh, well, we spent a lot on lawyers. We got the best lawyers we could. That's something that I highly recommend to anybody that's considering doing an ICO. Even though we're a utility token, we treated the entire process like it was a security, just to be extra careful. So in Canada and the US, we actually had to use accredited investors. We did not have a public open token sale to them. Anybody from in other countries around the world, not anybody, we had a very clear restricted list, could participate. But no, we worked specifically with regulators in mind and really played by the rules, even though there are none for this industry yet. But we knew that they would come, and there's not a ton of token projects in Canada because of this particular reason. Even though Ethereum was built in Toronto, a lot of even Canadian companies that want to raise funds, they do so offshore. So they'll register their company in the Cayman Islands. We wanted to be good Canadians. We're in this for the long haul. We want to create a tech scene, a really amazing one. And so in order to do that, we had to keep everything in Canada, pay our taxes like good citizens. So
okay,
yeah.
Good. Do you get paid in crypto as well? I mean, you have the tokens for
yourself. So we have tokens for ourselves, but it's on a very I don't want to say restricted basis, but it's so everybody has the same sort of goals. So we have a 3-year vesting period. Any of the co-founders, any of the executives in the company, to anybody in the company, your tokens vest in 6 months cliffs over 3-year period. So I actually have 0 Adbank tokens right now. I'll have some in July, but I always laugh when people think I'm going to go, if they say we're a scam, I'm going to go run away. I'm like, what am I going to run away with? I have nothing to run away with. So no, we do operate, as a proper business. So my salary is paid in Canadian dollars, but we all the executives take a really low salary, so we can really pump that money into growing the business. And our upside is that we hope that the token will do well one day, and hopefully that will be my story. I don't plan on buying a Lambo, but there's some great things you can do in the world when you've got capital. So fingers crossed.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kelsey, and hope to see lots of good things from Adbank.
I hope to see Adbank on your blog.
Why not? We can do a pilot.
Yes, we love that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was awesome.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't have to be that long because...
oh yeah, you'll find the good spots and chop chop.